Hi, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to SA Accounting Academy. Here's a short clip on one of our previous webinars. I hope that you really do enjoy it.
We've got a bit of a hiccup this morning. Carmen will be joining us at 10:30. It's been a bit of a crazy week for us this week. For those of you that know us or know me, you'll know that I actually am from KwaZulu-Natal. I'm from Pietermaritzburg. So thankfully we haven't been hit as hard physically by the floods, but Carmen is actually literally in the middle of it. She's got sinkholes in her road, and her next door neighbor's pool was washed out the ground and sitting in the middle of the road. We've had a lot of family and friends that have been very severely affected. We know people that have lost their lives due to this flooding. So it's been a difficult week and a bit of a crazy week. I sort of say, living in KwaZulu-Natal is definitely not for the faint of heart. We have looting at one time, we have flooding another time, and I think we are all, if you know anyone in this province and if you know anyone here, just keep us in your thoughts and prayers. I believe the death toll is over 300 at the moment, and I think that death toll is going to rise more and more. What is a little bit anxiety-inducing is that we're expecting more rain this weekend. So I don't think you always know how people are feeling when South Africans lose their sense of humor, and you'll notice that with all of this, there haven't been many jokes or been many memes or anything too much as our usual way would be, because we are actually hurting, I think, quite a bit here in KwaZulu-Natal at the moment. But as I was saying to Jeremiah, we do show up and do what we need to do. So we are here to do the work. I was just, it's rather ironic that we're going to be doing community living and communal living. And Carmen actually had another session today, which is on insurance claims, and it was been set months ago. And she was like, of all the sessions, Karen, that I have to do today, insurance claims is a little bit too close to home. So welcome. Before we really get into today's session and get started, for those of you that are online, this isn't ideal because Carmen should be joining in with me straight away, and then we banter and we talk and we niggle and we hassle each other. But these sessions are supposed to be practical sessions as much as possible. They're also supposed to be topic-driven as opposed to, issue-driven, as it were. So we are not here to do like accounting and pure accounting. We are not here to do pure legislation. We're actually here to do a mixture of all different disciplines, but surrounding a topic. So today we've chosen communal living, as was requested by the membership. We are going to take it from a legislation perspective. We're going to look at it from an accounting perspective. Carmen's going to come in with exempt entities and tax. So there's going to be VAT and tax in today's session as well. With these sessions, Carmen and I often disagree, and we often look at things from different ways, but we really would love to know what issues you would love to have covered. We've got a whole range of topics that we can suggest, but we did a session earlier in the year, which was when good debts go bad, and the recording is available if anybody is wanting to look at it. And we were really excited about the topic because this is something that I think is really relevant. I think many of you are finding that you've got clients before that were fine and good and healthy, and between COVID, looting, and just general recession, rising prices at the moment, the Ukraine-Russian war, and don't think just because it's so far away that it's not affecting us. It's the reason that your petrol tanks are getting so expensive to fill. It's the reason why your food bill is going up 30%. There are all sorts of challenges that we're being faced with at the moment, and it's affecting business, and it's affecting solvency and liquidity of people. And what is the consequence of that in terms of if you've got debtors and if you've got loans, and good debts go bad. So that was a session which was from an accounting, legislation, tax perspective that we've done previously. We do trusts, so looking at trusts and looking at the legislation, accounting, and taxing of trusts. So we do a whole range of different types of corporate structuring. So looking at buying and selling businesses, and structuring of groups. that would be business combinations and accounting, and it's corporate structuring, section 42s and 46s and 49s in tax, and how the two work together. So that is what these tech talks are supposed to be about. They're supposed to be issue driven. When your client walks in and sits down in front of you, they don't come with, I need to do a section 42. They don't even know it's a section 42. They just know they have a problem in their business which they're trying to solve, and they're coming to you for solutions which you need to propose. But in proposing those solutions, you need to be aware that there are tripwires and all sorts of things. So the reason Carmen and I are so passionate about these, what we refer in-house, we call them our 360 topics, because we look at a topic from 360 degrees, is that often you are, for example, really tax focused. Okay, so they're coming and they're wanting to be tax efficient, and they're looking at restructuring their group to make the most of the tax provisions, and they don't see tripwires in legislation. They don't see tripwires in accounting, auditing, or other things. Sometimes people will say, well, put your investment into a trust and work with it like this because of X, Y, and Z. And then we come along and say, okay, that's fine. That is definitely a mechanism to use, but have you thought about A, B, and C? Okay. And so it's all about making informed decisions and trying to eliminate the blind spots, because sometimes we are very focused on the area that we know, and it's just a case of having somebody wave a flag and saying, well, don't forget that this is going to have a ripple effect or domino effect onto these other aspects of your life. Nothing happens in isolation. Everything is interconnected somewhere else. And that really is what we are wanting for the series and to develop in the series, is this interconnected awareness of how topics relate to each other. So as much as we can suggest topics, we would rather have topics come from you. So as we go through today's session, or as you think about it today, if you think of something that you would really like literally to have a 3-hour session where you get the tax perspective, the legislation perspective, the accounting perspective, and potentially the auditing perspective, although in this audience, auditing always isn't necessarily required. When you get that whole rounded effect for a particular issue, let us know and we'll put it together. So we're already looking at next month's topic, and we would much rather have a topic that you want rather than just a topic that we think you want, and then when we put it together, nobody wants it. Okay, so if you can just think about that and let me know your thoughts, I would really, really appreciate it. Today's topic is one that came from a list of a survey. And that is always what makes it more interesting. Okay, so good morning. If you joined late, please let me know how you're doing. I hope that you are safe. I hope that you are doing okay wherever it is that you are. I hope that things are not too hectic and crazy for you at the moment. And I'm really, really happy to have you online. Okay. So if you can just warm up the system and let me know that you're good and that you are well, I would really, really appreciate it. And any thoughts you may have will go a long way today. Okay. Just a bit of housekeeping as well. If it's the first time you've been with me, we try to have a break sort of on the hour. With Carmen coming in sort of midway, I might try and actually organize that we have that break round about when she should be checking in. So I might actually call a break a little bit earlier and have that break a little bit later with her. So we'll sort of see how it goes. But we should have 2 breaks in the session, just so that you can grab a cup of coffee, stretch your legs, shake your head, and go from that. The other thing that I've done is I've put a lot more into the slides than we can possibly cover in the time that we have. More for you to have the information available. And I'm going to cherry pick a little bit of the things that we discussed. So if there are particular questions that you have about the topics that we are talking about, okay, if there are particular questions that you've come to the session to have answered, please can you pop them into the chat box. Please direct the conversation. These topics are not meant to be prescriptive. They're not meant to be, we have a set agenda, although we do have if you're all quiet and you don't talk to us, we can fill the 3 hours. Don't get me wrong, but we'd much rather for it to be an interactive session and to be addressing your concerns and your issues and the problems that you're coming across, and be practitioner driven rather than presenter driven.
I hope that you enjoyed that video. For more of our webinar videos, go to www.accountingacademy.co.za. Thank you and have a lovely day.